And part of it is because of the culture that we've instilled and the culture that has been in place for the 16 years that I've been here. Myself and the head coach, who is actually at Texas A&M now, he left a year ago, the former head coach, we were very much on the same wavelength as far as culture development, as far as the standards and expectations of the program. And so I couldn't have been put into a better situation. And that's really what should go back to the first question I think you asked about how have you been at some place so long? It was because the head coach and I saw eye to eye and had the same standards, expectations across the board for the program of where the program needed to go. And that's where you see a lot of problems with people moving in our field. It's because the head coach and the performance coach, strength and conditioning, don't see eye to eye, and it's continually butting heads. And sometimes you have to make exceptions or find another job in a way. But that is why I was able to stay in place for so long, is because of that. And because of those standards, expectations, and the culture we set. We don't have athletes that come in here and say, hey, I want to do this and this, or I don't believe in what we're doing. My buddy's doing this. I saw this on social media. I really never run into that problem. And I would attribute some of that to the fact that we educated them early on when I would come in, and I would give them all those educational talks to emphasize why we're doing what we're doing so that we didn't have any backlash against it. I really don't face that problem at all.
No, that's awesome. And is this, so you teed up the CVAS question I was going to ask you about, was that head coach the same one that you talked about, asked you why are all strength coaches so bitter?
Yes, that was the exact, yes, same one.
So for anybody that's listening now that was not at CVAS, if you could say that story again, because I know it hit home with me and some of my other friends that were there, they definitely took notes on that.
Yeah, so this was my second or third year at TCU here, and I walked into the staff's office on a Saturday before practice in the fall. Football was on the road. I didn't travel with football at that time, or that particular Saturday. And so had a Saturday off, or no, let me rephrase this question. We had a recruit coming in on Saturday. This was during the week. I'm sorry, I screwed this up a little bit. We had a recruit coming in on Saturday. During the week, I walk into the office and our head coach says, hey, we got a recruit that's going to be here on Saturday. I need you in here at 9 a.m. Talk to this kid. And I didn't say anything, but I showed it in my body language. And he snapped at me and he was like, why are all strength coaches so jaded? And there was a few more choice words in there than that. But I was like, what the hell is this guy talking about? He's every strength coach I have ever worked with is jaded. They're a pain in the ass that hates their job, that hates life, and act like you. I was like, man, I walked out of the office, bitched to friends, bitched to colleagues. And then I realized like this guy was right, because my attitude, my energy towards something that I love, which is developing human beings, developing athletes through the vehicle of strength and conditioning. I love it. I was portraying the attitude and energy of a lot of my colleagues that I had basically been around, because what I had come up in strength and conditioning, and a lot of my current colleagues at the time were traditional strength coaches. I don't know what to call it, but your traditional old school strength coaches that were like, F the staff, F administration. Everybody's out to get us. They all hate us. We don't get paid enough. We get overworked. And all these thoughts and feelings that really, a lot of strength and conditioning coaches have. And I realized I was letting their energy, their attitude reflect in me to my athletes and coaching staff. And it was from that moment on that I realized I had to change. I had to be somebody different. I couldn't do that anymore. And really what it was, if I was going to go anywhere in this field, especially with TCU baseball, the head coach at the time, it was going to have to be me separating myself from all the traditional strength and conditioning thoughts and feelings that I had grown up in. And so that was the moment that I switched, and it was a life-changing moment for me. And then on top of that, the other big thing that helped give me authority for all the listeners out there was social media. It was being a positive influence on social media and just using it at the time to educate, because my coaching staff saw that. They read the stuff that I was putting out. The administration here saw that. I retweeted an article one time by, who was it? Let's see, can't remember. Worked in administration. He's a big time baseball strength coach. Anyway, he wrote an article, I believe, that talked about how strength coaches are undervalued, underappreciated, and how you can create more of these things for yourself. And I retweeted it and wrote a little thing on it. And our athletic director was like, hey, I just saw your article. Want to talk to you about this. I want to see how we can create change in this field for you guys. So just something like that, like these people are watching. And so it helped to give me authority, probably more than anything else. I continually educated him in staff meetings, but it was when I had social media and I started gathering a following and the snowball kind of started rolling that people around me started considering me as the authority a little bit. And so that helped tremendously.
I want to, before we go into the social media side or any of the fact that you wrote a book, do you also have to present and educate at an even higher level, whether it be senior level and at like all staff meetings? Because some of, I know, our assistant athletic directors do that. And if so, what is your advice on how to, again, put that hat on and manage that room or manage donors? Because I know it has become something that these assistant AD positions are doing.
Yeah, so I haven't done it to a large degree yet. I do with our administrators. It's the same way. It's educating them, but it's educating them a little bit differently. It's educating them on the importance of, honestly, it's advocating for our staff members a lot. It's advocating with the sport coaches on our staff members. What I probably do more of is just that, advocate for our staff to try to get raises, to try to change titles and things like that. It's very early on in my tenure. As far as a director now, I think I've been in this role officially overseeing everything now for right at a year. But yes, it's educating the administration. You just go about it differently, right? It's not, they don't care about the principles behind your speed work, right? They care about the things of here's why I need money for this technology. Here's why this coach needs to get a bump in pay, or we need to change his title and restructure the department. It's those types of things to try to advocate and elevate our coaching staff versus we've been talking about the strength and conditioning principles. They don't care about that stuff. And ideally, this field needs to move towards where you have a performance coach that oversees multiple departments: psychology, performance, strength and conditioning, what we call performance now, but strength and conditioning, the nutritional side, or whether it's sports medicine, somebody that oversees all those departments so that you have a holistic vision moving forward and not the siloed approaches. And that's something that's where we're trying to educate the administration so that we eliminate people that really have no reason to be, what's the word I'm looking for here? I can't think today. It's like I got CTE going on. They shouldn't be overseeing our department, because you have administrators everywhere that have never trained an athlete, have never worked as a coach, that oversees strength and conditioning. Right. And so the goal is to get people where they can value and judge or review how strength coaches are actually doing, right? Because they've been in that setting, they've been in that scenario. And that's really what the ultimate goal is to create the vision for administration so that we create a position of a performance administrator that oversees all these different departments so that we can have a holistic vision going forward, so that sports medicine and strength and conditioning understand the rehab process. Those processes are standardized so that you know exactly where your role is, where that happens, because that is a big missing piece in our field a lot of times, right? Silos again. The strength coach thinks he should be doing PT and rehab stuff over here, and it pisses off the ATCs. And you get this back and forth battle a lot of times between staffs that think they each need to do this, and they're not working together. And so it's trying to create that holistic vision. That's what it is.
Congratulations on making it to the end of the video. Why don't you celebrate by watching more videos just like it? You can also help us on our quest to placate the algorithm gods by liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting. Thank you.